Okay, next section is compound interest. Okay. Okay, so the difference between simple interest and compound interest is that in compound interest, let's say okay, let's consider these two scenarios. You have 1000 ringgit, okay, and let's say if you have simple interest, let's say the rate is let's say 10%. Okay, in both cases rate is 10% and the time is 3 years. Okay, so what happens in simple interest? What will be your simple interest? How much is a simple interest? You just did an entire section on simple interest. PTR by
PTR time over 100.
So 1000
times 10 times 3.
3 times 10 over 100. So how much? 300, right?
Yes.
So 300 ringgit is your simple interest. So this is, so at the end of 3 years, how much money will you have? After 3 years, you will have the principal, right? You will have the 1000 ringgit principal plus
300.
Plus 300. So you will have 1300. Okay.
Yes.
So this is what happens in the case of simple interest. Now let's see what happens for compound interest. So if you have this amount deposited at the same rate of 10% for 3 years, so in compound interest, so for 1 year, so or let's say for 1 year the compound interest will be, so there is a growth of 10%. So you say 1000 will become 1000 into, what will happen if 1000 increases by 10%?
1000 times 10.
1000 times 10% or 10 by 100, right?
Yes.
So that's 100, isn't it?
Yes.
So 1000 becomes how much? 1000 becomes, you add this 100 to 1000.
So 1100.
1100. Okay, so this is how much you have after 1 year. Now what happens after 2 years? After 2 years, so now you have to see again, your money increases by 10%. So 1100 increases by 10% plus 10%. So how much will you have at the end of 2 years?
110 plus
100. No, 10% of 1100. It is you have to calculate 10% of 1100 and then add it to 1100.
So 110.
110. So you have to add 1100 plus 110. 1100 plus 110. 1210, right?
Yes.
So this is how much you are left with after 2 years. Okay. Now what happens after 3 years?
1210 times 100. So
that increases by 10%. So
1 121.
121. So how much will be your total?
1210
Huh.
plus 121.
121, yes.
1331.
1331. So you see the difference. Earlier
Yes.
you had just 1300, now you have 1331. Okay. So always, if the rate of interest and the time are the same, you'll end up with more money if it is compound interest. Okay.
Yes.
So you understood the difference, right?
Yes.
So the difference is that in compound interest, the interest after each period gets added to the principal, right?
Yes.
And then for the next year, that 10% is calculated on the total 1100. And for the third year, that 10% is calculated on 1210. So this keeps increasing, right?
Yes.
So instead of doing it like this, instead of doing it step by step, we have a formula for compound interest. Okay. So the formula is like this: P into 1 plus R by 100 whole raised to n minus P. Okay. So so you remember this figure, right? 1000, how much is that? 331. So let's use the formula. So in our example, the principal was 1000, rate was 10%, time was 3 years. 3 years, right? So so the interest, what was the interest that we calculated? 1331 was the total amount, right?
Yes.
So that minus your principal. So 331 will be your
interest.
compound interest. Yes, that will be your compound interest. Now let's apply the formula and see if we get the same figure. So interest is P into 1 plus R by 100 whole raised to n minus P. So P is 1000. 1000 into 1 plus R means
Rate 10%.
10. So 10 by 100 whole raised to 3 minus 1000. So 1000 into, what is 1 plus 10 by 100 as a decimal? 1.1, right?
Yes.
See, if the rate is 10%, then it becomes 1.1, right?
Yes.
If the rate is 20%, it becomes what? 1 plus 20 by 100. It becomes
1.2.
1.2. If the rate is 30%, it becomes
1.3.
1.3. If the rate is 5%, it becomes
1.05.
Ah, very good. 1.05. If the rate is 7%,
1.05. 07.
0.07. What if the rate is 6.5%?
1.06.
Ah, very good. So this is how you calculate. Okay, even if you don't learn it by heart, you should understand how you get it. Okay. Okay, so here it's 1.1. 1.1 to the power of 3 minus 1000. You know how to do this in a calculator, right? 1000 into 1.1 to the power 3. So how much do you get?
300.
Yeah, you get the final answer as 331 itself. Okay, so this is the formula to calculate
Compound interest.
Compound interest. Okay. So so interest is P into 1 plus R by 100 to the power n minus P. Okay. Using the formula for compound interest or otherwise, calculate the following. A shipping company borrows $70 million at 5%. What is PA?
Uh,
PA is per annum. Per annum means per
every year.
yes, every year, per year, yes. So the rate is 5% per annum compound interest to build a new cruise ship. If it repays the debt after 3 years, how much interest will the company pay? So here what is the principal?
7 million.
70 million, right?
Yes.
70 million is how many zeros? Like this?
6, 7.
Like this, right? 70 million. What is the rate?
5.
5. Okay. 500 or list. What is n?
3.
3. N is number of years. Okay. Yeah, that's all you need, right?
Yes, sir.
So 70
17
million into, can use this formula, 1 plus 5 by 100 all raised to 3 minus 70 million. So how much? Yes, very good. This many dollars, right?
Yes.
So that's your interest. A woman borrows $100,000 for home improvements. The compound interest rate is 15% per annum and she repays it in full after 3 years. How much interest will she pay? It's the same thing, right?
Yes.
Very same. It's very similar to the first question. Let's skip that. A man owes $5,000 on his credit cards. The APR. What is APR? APR is annual percentage rate. So it is the same as saying 20% per annum. Okay. If he doesn't repay any of the debt, how much will he owe after 4 years? If he doesn't repay, okay. So basically, how much does he have to pay after 4 years? So P into
P into
whole raised to n. This will be the total amount that he has to pay, right?
yes.
Now, if they ask you how much interest will he owe after 4 years, you have to subtract.
20.
No. You have to subtract the principal, right?
Yes.
So P into 1 plus R by 100 will be the total amount. This is called the amount. Okay. So this amount will include the principal and the compound interest, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So if they ask you what is the interest that he owes after 4 years, you have to subtract the principal from this, right?
Yes.
Then you will get what is the interest. If they ask you how much will he owe after 4 years, that means they mean how much amount. Okay, not just the interest. Understood, right?
Yes.
So here what's the answer? 5,000 into 1 plus 20 by 100 all raised to 4. How much is that?
10,000. $10,368.
Yes, that's the right answer. $10,368. So, okay, then look at number 4. A school increases its intake by 10% each year. If it starts with 1,000 students, how many will it have at the beginning of the 4th year of expansion? See, here you have to be very careful about n. So, what is n in this case?
4.
Is it?
It's 1.
It's beginning of the 4th year.
So 3.
Yeah, so n has to be 3 here. So beginning of the 4th year is the same as end of the
End of the 4th year.
beginning of the
End of the 3rd year.
end of the 3rd year. Yeah, so n is actually 3 and not 4. Okay. So if they had asked you how many will it have at the end of the 4th year, n would have been 4. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's your answer?
1,331.
Yes, that's the right answer. 1,331 students. Okay. Okay, so you see that here it's not about interest or money in the bank.
Yes.
It's about number of students. So this idea of compound interest has other applications as well. It's not just for calculating the compound interest. So for any situation where there is a fixed percentage of growth each year, you have to use compound interest, right? Whether it's percentage or growth in the number of students in a school, or as you can see in this number 5, it is about growth in the population of fish. Yeah, so all such situations you can use compound interest, this formula for compound interest. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let's do this number 5. 8 million tons of fish were caught in the North Sea in 2012. If the catch is reduced by 20% each year for 4 years, what weight is caught at the end of this time? So it will be 8 into 1 plus
1 plus 2. 2 over 2.
sorry
20. 20 over 100.
20, or see here you have to be you have to note that it is not growth, right? The number of fish caught is not growing, it's actually decreasing. So it's minus 20 here. Okay, raised to 4. So it will be 8 into 1 minus 20 by 100.
So 0.8.
Yeah. So 8 into 0.8 raised to 4.
3.2768.
2768. Right?
Yes.
So this many, what is the unit?
Ton.
So tons. What was the unit of 8?
Million tons.
Million tons. So this many million tons. Right?
Yes.
So how many tons is that? You have to multiply by?
1 million.
Yes, you have to multiply by 1 million. So how much will you get?
3,276,800.
Very good. That's the right answer. So this many tons of fish will be caught after 4 years. Understood. So here be very careful about this minus sign. So if you don't have that, you will get a completely wrong answer. Okay. Now how many years will it take for a debt to double at 42% per annum compound interest? So here they are asking you how many years will it take for a debt to double at 42% per annum compound interest. So in your textbook they have they ask you to find an approximate answer, okay, not an exact answer. So here so this is how you need to do it. For after 1 year,
1 year.
after 1 year, how much will it be?
42. 42 divided by.
No. See, let's assume you have 100 ringgit as your debt. Okay,
Yeah.
100 ringgit is your principal. So after 1 year, how much will it be? It grows
42.
it grows by 42%. So 100 into
100 into 42.
1.42, right? You remember this? If it was 10% increase, you multiplied it with 1.1, right?
Yes.
So here it's 42% increase, so you have to multiply with 1.42.
1.42.
So this becomes 142, right?
Yes.
So after 2 years, what happens?
100 times 142
Ah,
times 1.42.
very good. How much is that?
201.64.
201.64. So what do you see? You started with 100 and after 2 years
Increase.
it's now 200, right? 200 and something.
Yeah. Yes.
So your debt has doubled, right?
Yes.
So how many years will it take for a debt to double?
2.
2 years. Understood.
Yes.
So even if you have any other number in place of 100, if you put, let's say, 500, can you calculate? After 1 year it will be
500 times 1.42.
how much is that?
710.
710.
10.
Okay. After 2 years,
For 2 years. 710 times 1.42.
how much is that?
1008.2.
8.2. So here also you see that after 2 years it becomes double, right? 500 becomes more than 1000. So it does not depend on what number you take as the principal. Okay, it's always the same answer. Okay. How many years will it take for a debt to double at 15% per annum compound interest? Here also it's the same. You start with 100. Okay.
100.
So after 1 year it will be 100 into 1.15. So 115, right?
Yes.
After 2 years it will be
115 times 1.15.
1.15. So it will be
132.25.
okay. After 3 years
152.08.
very good. 152.0875. Then after 4 years
174.
0.9 something, right? Then after 5 years,
minus 1.5. 201.114.
1.14. Yes. So what's your answer?
5 years.
Yes, 5 years. Then, so that's how you do number 7. How about number 8? A car loses value at a rate of 27% each year. How long will it take for its value to halve? So how do you find this? So it's actually 100 into 1 minus 0.27, right?
Yes.
1 minus 0.27 is how much? 0.73, right?
Yes.
So it is 73 now. And after 2 years it will be 73 times
73 times 0.73.
very good, 0.73.
53.9.
Yes, 53.29. After 3 years it will be
0.73. 38.9.
38.9 something. So how long will it take to halve, for its value to halve? To halve means to become less than 50.
3 years.
3 years, yeah. So it was,
3 years.
yeah, so 3 years is the right answer. So it was just more than half after 2 years, and after 3 years it's it's less than half, right? So this is the end of the chapter.